Picture yourself on a 14-seater minivan, otherwise known as matatu here in Kenya. A flashy, colorful canvas on wheels, cruising through the city center, music electrifying, the conductor loading and unloading passengers, collecting fare. However, outside, the seemingly amazing experience is ruined by the toxic fumes coughed up by the matatu at every turn of its wheels. Now, this one matatu will do about 8 trips in a day, which runs between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. It will ply through various routes, ferrying its 14 passengers. This will go on for 7 days in a week, 30 days in a month, and 365 days in a year. So when would this old vehicle get time to go to the garage and get fixed? According to an article by the Daily Nation, there are about 10,000 matatus in Nairobi. They service about 58.7% of the population. This is about 6 in every 10 people, roughly about 3.1 million people. That's a large number of daily commuters. These passengers get to choose stops from the 2,841 options on the 133 routes available. These statistics are in regards to Nairobi alone, so imagine Kenya as a whole. It is clear that these minivans and minibuses contribute greatly to the transportation industry. However, we have to look at the impact this is having on our Kenyan atmosphere. It has been established that the transportation industry contributes to about 15% of the CO2 emissions. In 2021, Kenya was recorded to have produced a staggering 22,000 kilotons of CO2 emissions. The graph by Trading Economics showed a projected increase in the coming years. So how can we change the narrative? In Kenya, there have been several innovations that have been an example of green transport. From the electric vehicle to the wind-powered tricycle, the attempts are being made to combat climate change. Back to the bustling matatu. There have been several talks around the world in support of electric vehicles. Several companies in Kenya have taken the initiative to start companies that are driven to combat climate change while still providing the much-needed transport vehicles. Now, one such company is Basigo, a company started by a person who saw the effect these emissions were having on our environment. According to Basigo, in the next 2 years, Africa will have 10 cities with a population of 10 million people each. The company has been able to leverage on the fact that Kenya has cheap, clean forms of electricity. A bus in the company is able to do about 400 kilometers in a day. This is about double what the normal matatu does in a day. The company has created an app through which you can locate the nearest bus to you. Some of the features on the bus include comfort, real-time tracking, and they even provide you with a recharge depot that takes about 2 hours. Most importantly is the fact that it has 0 emissions. So, why haven't these electric vehicles taken over the scene? Okay, let's go on another mental journey together. Walk with me along the Globe roundabout to the Kariakor roundabout into the Gikomba area. The once colorless waters of the Nairobi River are now covered in a thick blanket of oil and car parts from the makeshift garages where the matatus find a quick fix before they get back onto our roads. It is clear that this river harbors no form of life. What is the solution aside from electric vehicles? I believe that that journey has painted a grim picture of what is going on around us. There are some consequences we face due to this constant pollution of our environment. From respiratory conditions to the death of flora and fauna, climate change, food supply disruptions, and for a country that leverages on its beauty for the tourism industry, it is likely to face a decline in the coming years. These are just but a few consequences we face due to the constant pollution of our environment. What is the solution aside from electric vehicles? Some may say that the implementation of electric vehicles will take a long time. Well, what if I had an immediate solution? At the age of 19, Param Jaggi, an American high schooler, was able to come up with a vehicle emission filter known as CO2. This filter is able to act as a sieve for the CO2 and toxic chemicals produced during the combustion process. Through simple chemical reactions and photosynthesis, the device is able to convert the CO2 into oxygen and glucose. These products are able to sustain the strain of algae built into the filter. A simple device to use, as it only requires you to connect the filter to your exhaust and start your engine. Easy, right? Aside from the solutions I have given today, it is important for us to realize that the most important factor in reducing our carbon footprint is awareness. After speaking to a few matatu drivers in our local business district, I was able to establish that they did not understand the impact these emissions have on our environment. Then, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us to start making a difference. It begins with you and me creating awareness. A quote I borrow from the late Robert Swan: "The greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it." It is time for us to start making these small steps for change in order to safeguard our planet for future generations. Thank you.